To quote Psy, today I'm with someone who was born to make music. You may know her as the founder and member of the Barberettes. You may know her as a songwriter for Songwriter, Taeyeon, LeeHi, Hwasa, and you may know her as one of PNATION's newest artists. Please join me in welcoming the one, the only An Shinae.
Hello, ReacttotheK. I'm a huge fan of you. I'm very glad and excited to be on your show and doing the interview and some more fun things.
I'm so excited to follow your journey as an artist, and we're going to try and recap your entire musical story in this interview.
I'm wide open.
So, where did your professional music career start, and what did you learn about yourself during your early experiences?
Yeah, it goes way back. I started doing music professionally as soon as I entered the high school, because I entered a music high school and I decided, okay, this is something I would like to do for the rest of my life. Then I met this K-pop songwriter. He wanted me to sing ghost vocal for his demo tracks. That was a very first experience.
Were you also already teaching vocals at that point?
My first teaching experience, it was the summer vacation of my first year in college because I needed to make money. Yes.
What did you learn through teaching?
I used to do a ton of vocal lessons even after graduating the college. That was a very important time for me. I get to meet all kinds of different vocalists, young vocalists, and discover about, the voice tones and how it sounds differently to different, body types. And also, most importantly, I was playing piano for all of them. So that was the time I caught the biggest sense of chord progressions of every pop music.
It's ingrained in your soul at this point.
Yes, so that made me to be able to, when I listen to the melody, I can follow the chords. That came into me after that. Crazy lesson years.
Oh my gosh, you already answered one of my questions that I was going to ask later.
Right.
You had so much experience learning about different vocal timbres and ranges. I can't help but connect that to your ability to arrange harmonies and compose for the Barberettes. So my first introduction to your voice was your performances with the Barberettes. You described the 50s and 60s era music as the era when the best pop melodies, lyrics, and harmonies were made. It's the genre of music that has no haters. How were you initially introduced to that era of music?
After I graduated from college, I was introduced to this application called Songza. Now I think it's not in service right now. It was one of the first experience of, when you select a category and then they play, music in this category endless. Yeah. So I was just like discovering all kinds of different categories, and I tapped classical groups, and boom. Wow, it sounds amazing. It's something that I'm used to listening because there are so many famous songs. When I listen to this song, Mr. Salmon by the Chords, it hit me like, oh my God, this sounds so amazing. There's just something about 1950s and 60s vocal harmonies. It's so natural and it's harmonized so well. Like, you're a classical musician, so you know how well arranged it is. And also the time background around then, especially in America. I mean, I never lived in that era in America, but I think it's the time when everything was thriving economic-wise, especially in the music industry. It's one of the first times when the pop industry just like boomed out. Everybody was buying the records, and everybody was listening to these few radio channels. And when it is played in the radio channel, everyone was going to buy the record in the stores, and people were just like really enjoying it. That's something that I feel the vibe from that era of music. And it's just so happy, so vibrant. It just has something that everybody can react naturally. That's what I find in 1950s and 60s music, like their dress, their facial expressions, and the instruments that they use, and the recording way. It's just, yeah, I'm so excited to think about it.
I feel like the same passion you have for those eras of music is very prevalent in any other genre you write in. In one of your past interviews, you said, "I believe in the healing process of playing music, singing, and also listening. When I'm singing, I feel like all the negative things inside me come out of my mouth and take the good energy in the air and bring it inside me," which I easily feel through your vibes and messages in both your own solo songs and the ones you compose for other artists. So I'd like to ask you about some specific songs.
Okay.
I love the warm, satisfying melody of LeeHi's Only. What type of magic did you use in the melody to make it so touching and heartwarming?
Oh, thank you for enjoying so much of LeeHi's Only, because that's one of my favorite tracks too. At this time, I had this very happy feeling of moving to a new place. I was very comfortable and I sat on the piano and I came up with, this is my favorite chord. B flat major 7.
Oh, beautiful. Mm-hmm.
So for me, B flat major 7 is like a very pretty baby pink powderish. The scent is very like you're holding a baby kind of feeling. So I laid down the B flat major 7. The melody of chorus part came in very naturally, like. It just descends and then goes up, very simple. And then afterwards, I completed all the other parts with the lyrics. I had this picture in mind, this song being played in a wedding. Some feelings like you finally met someone that you can be comfortable with or be secure with, like you're in a secure relationship. But it's the beginning, so it's so nice. And I'm very happy how this song turned out. And I even before the finishing up the demo, well, my boyfriend told me, this song should sound so good with LeeHi. You should send it to her. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. She was so happy about it. And I'm really glad she chose the song and she sang it so well and so sweet. Yeah, that's the behind story of the song.
Now for a change in vibe.
Okay.
Hwasa's I Love My Body.
Woo!
I'm very curious. So the demo, did it have all the stylistic shifts with the trap and the soul Motown and the hip hop in the very first demo? Or did it shift when Hwasa selected it to be one of her songs?
So I sat down with the producer Yoo Gun-hyung. He's the chief producer of PNATION. At this time, we sat down all the time for writing new songs without, any purpose. So we had so much fun. And then we were writing some of my tracks and, why don't we try writing something different? Something like, with the Motown vibe, because I, enjoy laying down Motown harmonies and the singing way and the melody. It's like, and why don't we mesh up with, some cool beats and some, switching off parts. He laid down some of the beats, and then I grabbed the guitar, and he was asking me like, "Can you play any chords that comes to your mind?" And then I started with the C. So basic, and it's my best friend all the time. In the final record, it's B because that's a more comfortable key for singing. And yeah, I started with the C and then very simple, blues chord progression. It goes to F and then G and then C7 again. Very, very classic, Motown kind of chord, and I laid down the melody. It just came up so like, and then the producer was like, yeah, that's it. Let's start from there. And then the bridge part was made, and then it goes to the chorus part. And I did not expect that drop right there.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know if anyone did.
Yeah, that part is completely the idea of producer Yoo. Yeah, the lyrics were made afterwards. In Jeju Island, there's a sauna, public sauna that I always go to. We call it 목욕탕, And I don't know if it's proper to speak in a public interview, but everyone goes to 찜질방 in Korea. I sit down in the tub and I watch people, people's different body types, and I thought, everyone is so beautiful. You don't know if this person wears this clothes or, You don't know if this person is rich or poor, or it's just so beautiful. So I came up with the line, I love my body. Yeah, I love my tummy. I love my legs.
Yes.
So that's how the song was made. And Hwasa heard it and she loved it. And she signed the company because of the song.
Yes!
And she's just an amazing artist. When Hwasa went into the vocal booth, it's where the actual magic happened. The song changed. Song shifted to completely another level. There's just something about her that stimulates right in to people's instinct inside about she just knows to how to project her coolness into the song, and it's just so great. I don't know. I wish I had different vocabulary to express.
We totally get it. Yeah, she just inserts the Hwasa confidence and swag that only Hwasa has.
And also about her voice tone is so cool that her voice tone is really sexy and it's very cool. But at the same time, her voice tone itself has every frequency. She has a full low and full mid and full high. So when you listen to her voice, it's very strong, but you never get tired of it. Even when she's like belting out the high pitch, it sounds so soft and comfortable to listen to. So I wanted to talk about that.
I mean, I can also say that about you as well.
Thank you.
And speaking of your voice, I would love to transition to talking more about your own solo discography. I'm curious what experiences led you to choosing the messages of soul and respect and what genres you wanted to debut with.
We talked about my background with 1950s and 60s music. But like before I was into that type of music, my first musical crush was, R&B soul singers. Alicia Keys, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. They are here in a very strong base of my musicality. I started listening to their songs, singing their songs. And it was easy for me that I start with soul genre as my first debut album. And the message that I put in, it was something that I had to talk about as a singer-songwriter. It's about self-respect. It's about listening to your own voice, listening to your spirituality. I took a few years off before that album release. I was trying to discover myself other than just a musician trying to make a success over many, many years, because I started my musician career since entering high school. I was so tired of trying to make success. I'm working so hard, but I don't feel like I'm getting as much of recognition that I expect. Maybe it's not for me. So I moved where I lived. Taking that time off, I was more getting to know about myself, what I like and what I want, other than what other people want and what other people like. I was so focused on what other people like. I think I did that because I wanted to be loved. So that's basically respect is about. I'm tired of responding to other people's requests. I'm not your mother, sister, babysitter. I'm gonna live just as myself. That was a start, and also soul is the expansion of that story, finding my soul. I think many people think similar way. Everybody wants to discover about themselves during this life.
I would like to recommend our viewers to go to your Instagram because I absolutely love the Instagram cartoons that you draw.
Oh, yes.
So if people want to learn more about Shinae's preparation for each song she writes, check out her Instagram. Okay, so you recently released a new EP, Dear City, that contains 3 beautiful new songs, plus an instrumental version of Hold Me Now. This EP truly does feel like a comforting embrace from you. While your vocal melodies and lyrics deliver so much emotion, so do your chord choices. Like in the intro of Dear City, where you're playing the guitar and you leave us hanging on an unresolved chord before your vocal melody comes in. Do chord progressions come naturally to you? And I believe you sort of answered this question earlier.
You know my answer.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, for writing Dear City, I wrote it with the guitar. You can hear the guitar in the song. But writing with guitar and piano is so different. Like when I speak in English, there are personalities that I don't show so often in Korean when I'm speaking in Korean. For writing in piano, there are certain chord progressions that I go to, and I can be able to see which notes goes to where next.
Right.
But with the guitar, it's completely different language. It's like me being in the other planet. So it took me a long time to be comfortable with playing guitars. But there's just something magical about these chord progressions in Dear City. I just follow these little square boxes.
Yep.
But I was just like playing around, and then they sound so cool. I have to go to the piano and copy each songs to know the certain chord names. But yeah, that's how Dear City chords were made.
Next, I do have to ask about my favorite song off of the album, Inefficient Love. You're credited as co-arranging the track with Cloud Co. So did you originally write it on guitar and then work together to build the thicker instrumentation?
I started writing with the guitar, and it was in my iPhone recording app for 2 years, and then I decided to make a demo track. So I made the demo track, and that was in my hard drive for 2 years.
Shinae, you kept this from us for 4 years!
Well, I'm very glad that you really enjoyed the Inefficient Love, because it's one of my favorite tracks as well. I had so much fun of recording that song. It was the happiest moment for my music life in a while. And when I met Cloud Co, he took my latest demo that was done in 2 years ago. Yeah, and then he just put all these beautiful bass lines and rhythmic changes and grooves, and he even played around with the tempo. And my favorite part of this track is the outro. When I was working with this outro, I had this experience in my mind that all my words and all my melodies in this song were going to this beautiful Disneyland, you know? How this song is completed is so fantastic, and thanks to Cloud Co, because of him, this magic was possible, and I really hope many people will hear this track.
My mom did,
Oh,
and
really?
she immediately added it to her playlist.
Awesome, yes!
Sadly, we have reached the end of the interview, aside from a separate special video that we will be releasing in a bit. Is there one final message that you would like to say to our viewers and your fans?
There's something I would really like to say to your viewers in ReacttotheK. I think that there are a lot of musicians and music students or people who want to be musicians. For me, there were a lot of hard times to be in position that I am now, that I suffered a lot, and being disappointed a lot and question myself a lot. And there's my good one musician friend, she spoke to me. Music saves people's lives, like it did to me. So to be able to do that, musicians should save themselves first. So we need to find our ways to be happy while we are trying to reach to the goals that we want to be in. Even if you don't achieve anything, music itself really goes somewhere that you don't know where it's going to, and somebody listens, and that could save somebody's life. So I wanted to say all these musicians should stay healthy and stop questioning yourselves and have good friends around, good music friends around. And I will be always trying to be a good example of one of the music survivors. Yes, so yeah, that's my message. I'm on this stage. That Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
This is a safe space on ReacttotheK. An Shinae can cry.
It will be on YouTube for the rest of my life.
I can blur your face.
I'm not crying.